All down to the wire for Axiom-Acer. Alicia, the last man standing. He's already taken out Panic, who was on a roll with 3 kills, but now he has to face Bomber.
Bomber gonna be the next player for Team StarTale. He might be the last if he's able to win his match now. He has the map choice, and Alicia is at least up against another player if Bomber is not successful against him. We could see Live today, we could see Curious, we could see someone completely different. On the other hand, we have the Axiom-Acer bench. They're not too happy. The Terran players didn't stand a chance against Pennant today.
Yeah, but at least they look cheerful and happy on the booth, or on the bench there just now, knowing that Alicia still has a chance. And also, even if he can't pull through for them, he's already gotten 1 win, and their indicator is so high that for them today, they're just like, maybe we underestimated our opponents here. We got to regroup for a second, but Alicia's still in the booth, and everything could change.
Yep, everything definitely can. The Bomber is a tough opponent to face, and StarTale did not hesitate to send him out right away after Panic lost his game. And he is definitely one of the strongest that they have. A lot of people expect him to be the last player today. He was supposedly the player who had to face Innovation, but didn't even come to that.
Yeah, Innovation got taken out too quick. You know, it's so funny that we had 3 epic games where Panic just demolished Terran after Terran. Then as Protoss versus Protoss, he looked sloppy and fell apart in less than 8 minutes in a game. It's just funny how that works out. Now Alicia has to play against Bomber. This team match has been pretty crazy.
Innovation in this game against Panic, maybe a little bit too eager to end the game, attacking into all those cannons. Panic with this massive commitment to defense was able to make that work. But right now we have a completely different Terran versus Protoss. This time it is the Protoss player on the side of Axiom-Acer. Alicia has to deal with Bomber here. It's not going to be easy for him, but he has to come through for his team now if they want to go into the second part of the GSTL Season 2 in 2013 as the top team. Right now we have the map Yonsu, and if they lose today, it might be the first loss for him. And for Innovation, by the way, it was the first loss in the GSTL they suffered at the hands of Panic. Going into potentially our last game today, StarTale up against Axiom-Acer, brought to you by Color. In the bottom left of the map, we have the Terran player for Team StarTale. This is none other than
StarTale Bomber.
The WCS Season 2 champion is up against the Protoss player in his first game today. Starting to the top right of Yonsu, we have
Axiom-Acer.
His victory against Panic. He took out 3 Axiom-Acer players. Alicia is now facing his second opponent today with this colorful keyboard here.
Yeah, I like those colorful keyboards. Mine's just black, but I'm okay with mine just being black. But if I were in the booth, I would want a colorful one.
Axiom-Acer, they all customize the keyboards, like all of them. Put actually apparently a lot of work into that, at least a few of those.
You know, I never had a 10 keyless keyboard. I'm really considering getting one. Just, you know, just to carry around. Sometimes I go to PC Bong, I want to have my keyboard with me.
I'm always a little bit on the fence since I'm not only using it for gambling, and the numpad just comes in quite handy at times. So like, they look cool, it's nice, but I always feel like I would miss something. But I never really tried, so I can't say for
That's the same thing for me. That's why I never had one, because the numpad is so important for me. I mean, all my passwords have so many numbers in them that when I'm typing in, I need that numpad typing in really fast. And doing any sort of calculations, you want that numpad. But if I go to PC Bong, I guess I don't need it really. So
if you have it at home though, and you have 2 keyboards, and you always have to switch, and that's also annoying.
Yeah, I would never probably use it at home. But then the thing is, if you don't use it at home and you only use it when you go out, then you're going to have to get used to it every time. But they're certainly cool, especially if you're a pro gamer using it all the time, for sure.
Well, then it makes a lot of sense here. And right now in the game, we have actually Bomber going straight into Barracks, into CC here against the Protoss opponent. Alicia to the top left is, of course, already mining gas at this point. And
he was checking, I think that was This Is Game, I'm not sure, but...
No, that was Play XP.
Oh, Play XP.
Yeah.
Checking the Korean gaming site. We all know what Legend does in his free time. He loves esports, that's what he does.
Don't worry guys, that was not Korean porn, that was just a Korean replay site for StarCraft.
You know, the Korean sites for StarCraft are very different than, say, Team Liquid, for example. They have a lot of small little posts that you can make.
You know, like back in the days when I was still in StarCraft was just started, and I could not read any Korean whatsoever, and I had no idea. I actually went on a couple of the Korean gaming sites, and
I know where this is going.
the only what? Really?
Maybe,
It's just
I
like
don't know.
I downloaded like all the replays, and I had such a tough time to actually navigating. The only thing that you could do is you could look at the links because they were in English, so you kind of had to figure out where the replays were.
I thought you were going to say you read some of the articles because you saw a player's face and you tried to Google Translate them.
No.
Because I know a lot of esports controversies that have come out of Google Translated Korean articles too.
Yeah, I never did that. Like Google Translate is horrible when it comes to English. No. Forget it. Like Google Translate is actually like, I mean, the things that you get is really interesting when you start to translate stuff like this.
We have a Twilight Council for Alicia, by the way, which is kind of his trademark style these days. I want to just one more note on the Google Translate thing. If you guys are looking to learn Korean words one at a time, I recommend using Naver instead. You can go to dic.naver.com, dic.naver.com, and type in any English word or Korean word there, and it'll give you translations. It'll also give you like Japanese translation, other things, but like that's the most reliable source for one-to-one word translation I've found.
Yeah, Google Translate is sometimes very creative with the translations.
Yeah, a lot of people submit bad translations. That's basically the gist of it. There's a Dark Shrine, not a Blink coming out here.
Yeah, Dark Shrine that we currently see for Alicia, and he is using that against Bomber. Already used it in the last game in a very different matchup, of course. But Bomber usually a player who is quite safe. And with the double command center we already have, we usually have the energy for at least one scan. So let's see how exactly that's going to work out for Bomber here. Especially, of course, for Alicia.
No engineering bay is the
yep.
problem. There it is. And this timing for this eBay is about perfect. It's going to not only line up for where he wants to get his +1, but it'll probably make a turret at the natural. No robotics means no warp prism, so no DTs getting floated into the main.
Bit of poking going on here with one of the stalkers just at the front, double checking at the opponent's bunker. What Bomber usually doesn't, I mean, Bomber is a player who really likes to be aggressive with his Marines. He is also a player who really does not like the Mothership core, since it takes away a lot of the potential aggression that he could force upon an opponent. And he mentioned that several times in the past, so doesn't necessarily go in here and do something. He sees the late robotics for his opponent.
He should start a turret right away, and he does. There's no reason for that robotics to be late unless it was some sort of weird double forge building, but this is not Creator that he's playing against here, so he knows he needs to make a turret.
And he immediately also starts his second bunker, just as a safety precaution. So plays this super safe, and look at that timing. The turret is done, the DT moves in.
It's like he was waiting for it. You see him move his Marines port before he even saw the DT. Now that he knows it was a DT, salvages the bunkers. I mean, excellent play here.
Yeah, I think he even saw it with the supply depots on the high grounds for a second there.
That would make sense, yeah.
He was definitely expecting it, though. He was looking for it.
And, you know, now the Warp Prism follow might mean we get DTs in the main base, but because Bomber is so concerned about this, I do not think much damage will be done. It might be okay for Bomber to go ahead and drop a turret in the main, but with saving scans alone, that should be enough. He even keeps his Marines here to spot the Warp Prism. He knows it's coming.
Keeps the Marines close, and for Alicia, of course, his own tech now into Robotics Bay, and also the Forge is very much delayed. It's not that much of a commitment anymore to go into Dark Templars compared to Wings of Liberty, but it's still, of course, a lot of resources that don't really come into play. You can use the Dark Shrine later. Again, you can get the Archons out if need be, but still, this is kind of time lost for Alicia.
Yeah. Third CC gets dropped here, and that will be spotted at least by the Warp Prism. So that's one small victory this Warp Prism will grant. There's the first DT, and probably the only one that we will see, because this Warp Prism is going to get nothing done.
Yeah, there's also a missile turret in the main base now, so Bomber doesn't leave anything to chance so far. Getting the supply depot on the edge here, so that should be spotted, the Warp Prism.
Yeah. Waiting with the Warp Prism until he spots a move out is pretty smart, but he's going to go in now, yeah, and well, at least he moves. He's getting a little bit closer.
Sneaks in a little bit.
I know he was doing. He was trying to test, see if he could drop on that island. It didn't work. And he was like, oh.
At this point, things are actually looking pretty decent for Bomber. He's ahead in Harvest, in Army Supply. In the Harvest account, they are both very similar, and this is, of course, a disadvantage for the Protoss player who would love to be ahead here, since the channel player has the additional mules at his disposal. And with the drop play, it's not going to do too much, since we already have a scout here with the Zalaga Watchtower. Alicia knows that it's coming, but it at least keeps the Protoss player on his toes.
That probe, one hit point left, does finally get taken out. The DT here is going to harass a depot. That depot is very much harassed. The Marine Police took care of that situation.
Baits out the scanner, and that's about it. Here are the first Colossus already spotted. Loses one Marine, that's it. But a commitment of Alicia going into Colossi instead of dropping a potential Templar Archive here. The factory is going into position, can block here as well. Doesn't see the pylon just yet, and also doesn't see the probe that has been hidden here. Templar Archive is being dropped, and he definitely needs the third base if he wants to come into both factories here.
Looks like he's going to go ahead and try to force a cancel on third base that may appear. Or either that or he's looking for the Warp Prism. He just barely misses it. We'll catch the probe. Alicia clicked on that. I don't know if you guys saw that blue circle, but Alicia did click on that army, so he knows it's coming.
Ninja probe is sneaking past the Terran army. But at this point, 30 supply advantage already for the Terran player. In army supply, 80 against 50. Additional pylons to the left, actually closer being scouted, just not in vision range.
Yeah.
But Alicia also saw the block at his potential third. And here comes the Terran army trying to find... Oh, actually couldn't.
He's going to try to attack the SCVs at this CC, I think, with the Warp Prism here. He's already seen it with his probe, so he knows the CC is there. Templar Archives here, researching Storm.
And we have...
This is the probe here.
Transferring the SCVs over to the third base. The Warp Prism comes in though. If the Warp Prism tries to go into the main base, it will fall immediately to the Marines that we just had highlighted here once again. But we have another set of Zealots already sent in. Here comes the Warp Prism. A little bit too late. Bomber doesn't see the Warp Prism in time. Sends units over to his third base to take down those Zealots.
Could stop the turret from going up, which means DTs might be a problem later, but doesn't quite get it. In fact, I don't think he gets any kills there.
Yeah. Does also not really commit to anything, Bomber that is, at the top right. But he has that third base now ready, and Alicia, he just does not. So right now, Alicia is relying on his own Storm upgrade. He's trying to get another base into the game, taking down that factory here.
Yeah,
things are looking really good for Bomber.
That's really cool that he blocks the factory. That delays the Nexus a little bit here. He does lose it, kind of an oversight, but regardless, every little thing helps him when he has his third base up so much faster. And Storm is great defensively, but Bomber does not have to do what Innovation did here. He can actually just play the late game, and he's going to actually force a cancel on this Nexus easily.
Yep, easy peasy, moves in. We have the Zealots moving in at third base and forcing a lift. What Bomber could do is place a couple of turrets to the left side of the map where at the main base. That's where the Warp Prism is actually moving in again. I feel he should have committed to a few turrets here. There's not many reasons to not do it, since he has such a massive leading economy.
Exactly. If you kill the Warp Prism, that's one thing, but if you're not sure if it's still out there, that could be a big problem.
Because right now he's struggling. He has a few Zealots in his natural, and he has more Zealots in his main base, and that is a situation that he could have avoided.
Yeah. Zealot, you're going to kill this Warp Prism. A few Zealots coming into the third base. Bomber is actually just under attack from all angles here. Meanwhile, the third Nexus is back underway.
Bomber is actually struggling to split his army.
Yeah.
Surprising as it is, but he's struggling a little bit to just send units to all the right spots. He's a bit overwhelmed here by his opponent's aggression.
This might be a bit overzealous working all these, but actually Bomber again struggles to split. He sends his entire army, he 1A's his entire army to deal with 3 Zealots in his mineral line. He is just not splitting his army, you're exactly right.
The Zealots, on the other hand, have a bit of a problem since the SimCity and the main base of Bomber works against them. There are just too many small choke points where they're blocking each other. But now we have the Protoss player moving out, and Bomber has to stabilize right now. I mean, he's still in a good position, but he has to just get everything together once again.
He needs to calm down, basically. Yeah. I mean, he has the better army by far. He has the better composition. His upgrades are better too, but he has to make sure he deals with these storms. If he walks into a choke point or tries to walk up this ramp against the storms, this could be a disaster. Sending
the SCVs. He doesn't also need the SCVs with his army here. He can just send them back to his third base, start mining again. For some reason, I think he feels he has to commit.
Yeah, which is strange considering he's had such a better economy, but he's just losing too much. There's a DT killing his commander now. Baits a Storm on Vikings. That was an okay trade there. Good snipes as well.
Yeah, definitely good snipes for him at this point, but it looks like he feels he has to commit to an attack right now. That could work well for him. He had the chance to just stabilize and try to go into later stage of the game with the advantage that he had, but now we have the third base and he wants to avoid playing against that. He takes down those High Templars, and the rest of the Protoss army is struggling.
Yeah, but he had no real splits on those Templar. He's low on the medevacs, or rather some of his energy is low here on the medevacs. He needs to keep those together.
His third CC died to the Dark Templar, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and now he has to commit. He has to commit here.
He needs at least to take down this Nexus, and he does. He forces the Protoss player onto the high ground, but Bomber with a few uncharacteristic mistakes here. he can finally take down that DT, but losing the command center was a huge oversight that was absolutely not necessary. A lift alone would have prevented it.
Yeah, Bomber is getting a little bit flustered here. I think he still will push through and take this game.
Yeah.
That Storm is not good enough, and the army of Alicia is way too small here. But he definitely, Alicia almost had a comeback coming through here.
He's going for the Nexus now. The photon overcharge is there. Most of the army already gone in the main base. We have another Colossus trying to join the battle here, but most of the other ones are already gone. The army supply is just way too much. Alicia is going down. Army supply 90 versus 20. Bomber, even though he had a few problems in this game, pulls through, takes the game, and takes the match for StarTale.
That was a really flustery moment there for Bomber, but he still came through. He had so many advantages that even though he lost the command center to 1 DT and he lost a lot of SVs, he just had too big of an army.
He had a great early game and he made all the right choices. He had a good opener as well. The DTs for Alicia didn't do anything. Later on, Alicia with a multi-pronged attack at the main base and the natural really did a lot. And the coach, I think, is talking to him exactly about that. He could have just built a few missile turrets to the left side of the map trying to save his main base, then trying to stabilize on the third. That would have still given him a good position. But he just said, you know what, I don't want to deal with this right now. I have a few problems. I made a couple of mistakes with not splitting my army here, but I don't actually have to deal with you. I can just straight out attack you because my position here is so good that you just can't do anything against it.
Yeah, that was just Bomber's macro really showing through. His ability to control the map and take a third base both at the same time. His drop defense against those initial Zealots was really good. And, you know, Axiom-Acer loses today, but it's their first loss. And StarTale takes a great win today. Really good for their indicator as well.
Exactly. For the indicator, it was really important because now they are ahead of Team Azubu. They are currently, if I'm not mistaken, on a +2 indicator. Azubu is on +1. So they are on second place.
Yeah.
Should be at least. I mean, we're going to see the standings in just a little bit after we have the interviews. But I think they are currently on +2.
They may even be +3. I'm not sure, though.
Yeah.
I'd have to think about it. I'd see the scores again. But
I think they were on exactly 0. Azubu was on +1. If they would have had a +1 indicator, they would still be on third place because they lost to Azubu in direct comparison. So I think they are on +2. But we're going to see later. They're definitely in a good spot.
But still, I mean, it was a good day for them. It wasn't a 4-3 win, so that would be the only +1 they get there. But they take the win. They take out the undefeated team so far. They take out the undefeated player, Innovation. So, you know, even from a mental standpoint, this is great for StarTale. They got to be very happy with this victory.
Yeah, also with the players that play today, having not only Avenge performing quite well, but then losing the game, but having Panic now getting not only the experience in the booth, but after he lost in the last season, suddenly getting those wins, that's really important for him as a player. So that's really great to just see that the StarTale coach is actually committing to these things.
Yeah.
It was, in my opinion, a bit of a bold move to send out Panic as a second player in this situation when they were already down against a team that didn't lose this season, but it paid off for them, and it was exactly the choice that they needed. So he definitely showed guts there, and he was rewarded for it. Very good choice.
We're going to hear, of course, from the StarTale coach, but after that, I'm sure we're going to hear from Panic, which is what I'm most looking forward to, because this guy definitely got a lot of experience today.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
And there he is, talking about him right now. I like his hair, actually. It grew on. At first I wasn't sure.
So he's talking a little bit about the match today. He said that Panic was always preparing to actually come out, and so far he didn't really get a chance. So he sent him out today because he wanted to give him a little bit more experience for the further rounds. So just trying to not only rely on the big names that he used in the past, but also give newer players a chance here. Yeah. Which he also did in the last season with players like Avenge, and it completely paid off. So
yeah, absolutely. In the team house, Panic is even better than what he performed today, is what he's saying. So
actually underlining the point that we make quite often, that in playing in the booth is just adding so much additional stress to you that you won't be able to perform on the same level that you do in the team house. But for Panic today, it worked out so well.
It's just so important to get that experience and to have a good day like that. It really, really helps your mind and your attitude.
Yeah.
가면서 인터뷰 때도 말씀드렸다시피 개인 리그가 코드 S가 다 떨어지면서부터 이제 팀 리그에 집중할 수밖에 없는 상황이 되다 보니까
So the StarTale players are currently all knocked out from Code, that's what he says, the Premier League here in Korea. So they are concentrating a lot on the Team League in the GSTL now, a lot of time to specifically prepare for the Team League. So he feels that they are doing more, better and better as the season prolongs. And it also allows them to specifically prepare snipers, and that makes a lot of sense. So the strength of them is also coming from this kind of disadvantage in the individual league that they currently have.
Yeah. And we're going to hear from Bomber actually first, it looks like, just because he has such a cool hat.
평소에 한지훈 선수에게 이런 러시 좀 많이 했습니까?
연습할 때 하도 하다 보니까 이제 애들이 잘 당겨.
Bomber basically like the leader of his team.
내성이 생겼군요.
Yeah, definitely.
아, 지금 팀 내에서
In the team house, he's always bringing his workers for his attacks. That's what he's used to doing. That's what he's been practicing. And we saw that in Code S as well. He does it all the time, so he says the players are kind of used to it now.
개인 리그 다 떨어져서 분위기가 그렇게 좋진 않은데.
Which, I mean, we've seen this time and time again with Bomber.
Yeah, definitely.
아, 좋습니다.
He's kind of making the same point that the coach already made. He's talking a bit about the players that have been knocked out, that all the players in StarTale have been taken out of the individual league, so the atmosphere of the team is actually not that great, because that's for them a little bit disappointing. But in regards to the GSTL, it gives them a lot of motivation, and also he's quite happy that they were able to win today, so that makes it a lot better for them.
Yeah.
웃는 모습 보고 싶습니다.
His goal is to win the GSTL, of course,
평소에도 잘 웃는 감독님으로
and he wants to see his coach smile. He adds.
Yeah, the StarTale coach doesn't smile a whole lot when he's on camera.
Yeah. He smiles a lot off camera.
아는 거예요. 안고 가야 되는 사람은 아는 겁니다.
네, 확실히.
But it's pretty cool that he adds that. What is your goal for this season? You want to see my coach smile? That's nice. Well, you have to go to Team Azubu for that.
We've seen a lot of smiles.
There we
There
go.
it is. Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
자, 그리고 오늘의
He still has to win the GSTL, though.
할 수 있겠습니다. 많은 분들.
Of course, now we're going to hear from the man himself, Panic.
한재훈 선수 받아주세요. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
야, 한재훈. 오늘
Congratulations,
김동원,
said to
김민혁,
him.
이준영 잡았어요. 난리 났습니다, 커뮤니티에. 아, 오늘 딱 나갈 때 예상 목표는 한 2승, 1승 어땠나요?
네, 최대한 하고 싶었는데.
What was your goal when you were sent out today?
다행인 것 같아요.
아,
It was to get as many kills as I can, and I was able to win 3 matches, and I'm very happy about that.
그러지 않았습니까? 어땠어요? 100% 기량이 나온 것 같아요?
You know, I would not be surprised if suddenly a bird would just look out of his hair. Looks like a nest a little bit.
진짜 잘하는 선수인 것 같아요.
He currently just talks about his performance today, and he says that he thinks that today he was able to show roughly 80% of his usual level, that he was quite nervous playing here at the GSTL in front of the camera. But yeah, worked out well for him.
The Screencasters asking, they were really curious about that, how strong was his showing today, because this is the first time we've really seen him explode like this, and so if that's only 80%, what is 100%?
The last time he definitely was a lot more nervous than today, and he lost the match against Ryan. He was kind of taking part here. He's being asked here how exactly he felt going up against Innovation, and he said that he was very, very nervous playing against him. He feels that he was a little bit lucky getting the win against the strong current player of the Axiom-Acer team.
The strategy of Innovation, they're very aggressive, and if he hadn't seen it, he probably would have died, and so I guess that in some ways he gets considered lucky, but he had his observers everywhere. That wasn't luck, at the very least.
He saw what was coming, and he immediately committed heavily to the defense, and Innovation kind of made the mistake of committing to it and not moving.
Yeah.
축하드립니다. 야, 진짜 한지훈 선수가
So Pennant is currently saying that he would like to perform more in the GSTL a lot more often, and he wants to help his team to not only do well this season but also get the title. Kind of underlining once again what Bomber already said, that they are really aiming for the title this season since they're already out of the individual competitions. And it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
We're a little bit disappointed that they don't have any players in the individual league anymore, so the GSTL is just getting more and more important for them. Yep. And here we have our results once more, just lined up right in front of you.
Yep, we had Avenge lose right away to Ryung, but Panic taking 3 wins, not only against Ryung, but against Heart and Innovation, the Terran killer of the day.
Avenge and Panic definitely are the new Protoss players here on the team. Avenge probably still the player that has the better standing in general, but Panic already emphasizing today that he is a player to watch out for. And looking at the standings right now, we should see StarTale on 2nd place.
Yes.
Yeah, with a +2 indicator against Zubu's +1.
Yep, +1 for Azubu there, and of course Epic's Open and Soul still dragging at the bottom.
Which also means that if StarTale wins their last game with a 4-0 with an all-kill, they are going to they would overtake Axiom-Acer.
Yes.
And Zubu cannot accomplish this anymore since they would be 1 indicator point short.
Yeah, unfortunate for them. And just another shot there. Panic, he looks very happy. That was a pretty exciting day of Team League. I really liked how that sets things up for the rest of the season.
StarTale going up against FX Open next. The match is going to take place on Tuesday. Keep in mind that it's going to be a little bit earlier at 1 PM Korean Standard Time. Whereas next Thursday, 1 week from today, we're going to see the match between Azubu and Seoul. Also keep in mind that we have the GSTL All-Star match coming up. And for that, you can go to GOMTV.net into the forum. There are a couple of polls where you can vote for the players that you would like to see there. If you're a Redditor, then check out our StarCraft. It's currently on the top. It's the #1 thread, so definitely have a look at that too.
Yeah, and also, if you're on Reddit at that same time, you can spread the word about the Challenger brackets being released. Get in there, talk about that, tell your friends.
A couple of really interesting draws that we have there for the first round. That's also going to be really nice. We have, for example, Solar going up against Curious in the first round. This is a pretty interesting match to start. Solar, a player that a lot of people were really surprised about when he had his run in the WCG, and now in the Challenger League he was able, or in the qualifier he was able to make it into the Challenger League itself. It's going to play against Curious first. It's going to be a really good match. But with the GSTL, we're done for the day. We're going to see you guys on a Tuesday again with another StarTale match, this time going up against FX Open. See you guys then. Have a good day. Bye-bye.